in Mataviejas, featuring Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega. That's his full name. Crimes and sprees. Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega was a Spanish serial killer who was charged and known to take the lives of 16 elderly females in 1 year, specifically from the year of 1987 to the year of 1988. He would target victims that are ranged of age 61 to 93. He would often use his gentle and seemingly hard-working facade to trick his victims. In addition, he would reportedly stalk his victims at first to get them to know their identities or way on living. Therefore, it could make it easier for him to get inside without forced entry or much physical evidence. Once inside the elderly females' home, he would brutally beat them to death, in addition rape and sexually assault them. In one of the occasions, he reportedly forced the victim to swallow their own fake teeth. After the murders, Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega would casually place their bodies under the blanket so they are seemingly sleeping. In addition, there was no mess, and nothing seemingly had been stolen, leading to the doctors thinking and assuming they have died from a heart attack, in very few cases though. Despite the seemingly clean crime scene and nothing had been stolen, Jose had stole television, earrings, and even a false teeth that belonged to a victim after choking the lady in it, and flowers. Other than murders, he was already arrested on 1978 for rapes, which led to a 27-year sentence. However, he was released due to a good behavior and acts. Overall, the crimes of Jose was shaped by a form of brutal sexual fantasies. Investigation. The investigation of the case of Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega was heavily confusing and had many conflicts along with failures within the police, specifically the police of Santander, Spain. The police, in fact, at first did not realize the elderly females were murdered. They had assumed they passed away from natural causes of their age, or maybe in some cases they have thought they passed away from their past medical condition. Eventually, throughout the investigation, also involving the medical investigation, it was noted from one of the family members of the victims that some of their earrings were stolen along with other belongings. That was seemingly when the police of Santander began to take this case as a crime. In addition, it was noted and discovered two of the females who passed away both hired the same handyman, Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega. During that time, evidence began to form up, leading to the arrest of Jose in Santander, Spain, on the date of 19 of May, 1988. Jose did not hold back with his confession. With a detached tone, he would casually confess it as if it was a routine about his murders, specifically 9 of the murders. In addition, he claimed the victims reminded him of his abusive mother. Eventually, 16 murders were linked to him. In the hidden red trophy room Jose lived in, also discovering the belongings of the victims as trophies. Trial and court proceedings. The trial of Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega began in November of 1991 in Santander, Spain, 3 years after his arrest. That is when the court proceedings began. When the court began, there was a sudden shift within the demeanor of Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega. He would deny the crimes. In fact, he would state he did not do such a thing. It was noted he would deny and say the barrier in front of the judge. He would then add a barrier, an excuse that he made an excuse that the police had forced him to confess falsely. Despite the attempt of denial Jose had made, many of the families of the victims testified against him in court. In addition, they confirmed the significant amount of evidence as the belongings of their family during the court. In addition, medical records along with forensic exhumation during that time had been helping with the proving instead of the victim passing away from natural causes, they were brutally strangled by Jose. When interviewing Jose during the court, it was confirmed he was diagnosed as a calculating psychopath. At the end of the court and trial, under the Spanish law, Jose was legally sane and responsible for each and one of 16 murders. Aside from being charged with first-degree murders, he was also charged for assault and multiple counts of rape. Jose Antonio Rodriguez was sent to prison for 440 years. However, under the Spanish code, regardless of the sentence, each inmate was allowed to be only sentenced for 30 years in prison, leading to Jose originally getting released on 2008. Childhood. Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega was raised in a house that was located in one of the areas of Santander, Spain. It was noted his childhood was heavily abusive and dysfunctional. Before Jose turned into a teenager, his father and even his older brother were both violent alcoholics. They would often punch and sometimes strangle Jose. His mother was reportedly also abusive to Jose, specifically verbally abusive to Jose. In addition, it was said Jose's mother would scream at Jose very often, with the power of dominance parents had during that time. At age 8, Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega was sexually assaulted from a 50-year-old neighbor whom he thought and believed they were a friend. Jose reportedly had a strong desire, not love, but the commitment of brutal sexual fantasies with his mother. When Jose turned into a teenager, his father would become disabled in a wheelchair, leaving Jose to using this as a chance to abuse his father back. In other words, a form of rageful revenge. An incident involving throwing his father down the stairs had occurred, leading to his mother, Pilar Vega, kicking Jose out of the house. Therefore, Jose became homeless. Reportedly, girls at his school would reject Jose, in addition tease him. He seemed to have not gone along with anyone during his school life, despite the limited information regarding his life in school. Personal life, potentially affecting their crimes and acts. Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega had maintained a double life in Santander, Spain. He seemed to have a polite demeanor, in addition having a positive reputation from the people around him. In fact, he would marry his former classmate, whom he also had a son with. However, the relationship was filled with sexual abusement. In addition, during their marriage, Jose was arrested for rapes and torture, leading to him becoming divorced. In addition, having a 27-year prison sentence, which was his wife's last straw. After being released in such early years, he married his second wife. However, it did not go so well either, reportedly. His second wife was mentally disabled, leading Jose to psychologically torture her and sometimes physically abusing her, just like his father did to him. Aside from marriage, he worked as a handyman, requiring him to go door to door, which Jose used it as an advantage during his murder spree. The workers around him reported him as a hard-working gentleman, a devoted husband. In addition, people around would describe him as a polite man, in addition, a charming and neat man. Pivotal events. Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega was born on the 3rd of December 1957 in Santander, Spain, España. On 1965, at age 8, Jose was sexually assaulted from his 50-year-old neighbor. On 1975, at age 18, Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega would push his father down the stairs, then would get kicked out from the household, leading to him becoming homeless. On October of 1975, Jose was arrested, leading to the divorce between his first wife and himself. On 1986, Jose was released from prison for the rapes, due to the fact he behaved well, reportedly. On the early 1987, he remarried to a disabled wife. From August of 1987 to April of 1988, Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega had committed his murder spree, leading to the deaths of 16 elderly individuals. On May of 1988, Jose was arrested for his murders and crimes. On November of 1991, his court began, then ended in the same month, leading to his 30-year prison sentence. That was reportedly 400, if the Spanish code did not exist. Quotes from Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega. Esta parte es en español. This part will be in Spanish. Maté a 9 ancianas en total durante mi ola de asesinatos. Fue interesante. Los estrangularía. Incluso los asfixian con sus pertenencias. Entonces morirían. Yo le costaba sus cuerpos en su cama y, con mucha habilidad, los cubría con su manta. Esas ancianas me recordaba a mi madre, lo que me impulsaba a matar. Realmente quiera que mi madre muriera. Su señoría. Yo no cometí los crímenes. La policía me tendió una trampa. Me obligaron y me presionaron para que dijera cosas que no hice. Sinceramente, odiaba a las mujeres en general. Forensic inferences. The life of Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega was filled with dark fantasies of sex along with growing hate towards female gender. He likely began to learn how to strangle or brutally sexually assault females, especially when he himself was assaulted by his neighbors. The incident likely caused both trauma to form, in addition a learning experience for him to use those ways in assault towards his future victims in the murders. In the inside, he likely did not care if he was a handyman. He just wanted to kill his victims regardless if it was difficult or not. Those victims actually and likely did remind him of his mother, leading to the fuel and determination in killing them becoming stronger, despite maintaining a calm and gentle demeanor at first, before the brutal assaults. During Jose, when he was a child, he likely hated his father very much, as him and his older brother abused Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega. When seeing his father disabled, he likely couldn't care what condition was his father in. He just wanted to release his anger and rage. He likely began to realize when he abused his father that he may have some sort of advantage in killing disabled individuals instead of killing others who are healthy and potentially strong. He was likely searching the vulnerability in others for his killings and desires. His murder is really a combination of hate towards his mother, the target in vulnerability, his rage towards disabled people, and general hate in females. Legacy and impact. Some parts will be in Spanish. The case of Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega is Spain's most notorious and dangerous cases in history. Jose is an icon for serial killers in Spain, specifically Spanish serial killers, though Jose isn't as known in recent days. Jose's case is one of those cases where authorities had to rely on autopsy and their elderly victims. The media, along with the public, was enraged by the system of only 30 years in prison sentence under the Spanish law. Movies and series such as the 2015 introduction of Prisión Permanente Revisible, reviewable permanent prison for heinous crimes, were created based on the case of Jose. In Spain, the security of especially elderly females had advanced, learning and from the case of Jose. The case of Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega showed a massive failure within the system of prison, with security and law-wise. People till this day are enraged with the system of Spain regarding the case of Jose Antonio Rodriguez Vega.